Welcome, one and all, to the Piklopedia Explained. In today's episode, we are going to be explaining everything about the Piklopedia from Pikmin 4. By explaining, I mean I'm going to just read the notes out from every character. So it'll go Dalmo, Olimar, Louis. You'll know Louis. He's always talking about food. Dwarf bulborb, a miniature reflection of a mature bulborb. When you see this little mimic stomping around on its stubby legs, you'll fall in love with its remarkably clever beastie. Such a skilled, tiny trickster could mislead anyone it's born to be adored. Although initially identified as a juvenile bulborb, groundbreaking new research indicates that this creature is in fact a member of the breadbug family, a close relative of breadbug. It escapes predation through mimicry. Unique adaptation of the bulborb's crimson coloration allows the species to safely commingle. Such effective adaptation and obfuscation by a prey species is rare, indicating that this clever creature is a master of mimicry. That was Olimar. Louis' log is, for blissful biscuit, mince the entire beast finely and stir it with heavy cream, artichoke hearts, and a pinch of black pepper. Heat slowly until piping hot, rich and creamy. Albino dwarf bulborb. Among all the naturally charming dwarf bulborbs, this one might have the most attractive and well-balanced conformation. When night falls, the eyes of this fascinating creature emit an intense glow, whether to mesmerize prey or to help it spot other of its kind. It's an intriguing adaptation. I could stare into those shining eyes forever. A bulborb larva after its first molt. Due to its pale coloration, it was assumed to be mimic when it was first discovered. It was later confirmed to be a true dwarf bulborb. To avoid predation from an adult bulborb, it spends the majority of the daytime hours hiding underground. It becomes more active during a night when its pale coloration is more difficult to see. In this state, it's difficult to discern what species of bulborb any given juvenile may be by appearance alone. It's only after a bulborb's second molt that they start to display more distinguished species characteristics. Peel off the skin, starting at the tail end, then thinly slice and boil into a pot of heavily salted water. Serve immediately. Louis. Bulborb. It has wide googly eyes protruding from stalks, a mouth meant to swallow prey in one large gulp, and a powerful red and white polka dot hindquarters. It's fierce and is yet somehow quite endearing, by the way of getting learned by its charming mien. This large organism has a familiar mandibles and a cranial morphology of the grub dog family, as well as the characteristic bulging eyes. As with most grub dogs, the creature's cranium comprises half of its total length and girth. Showing a scarlet abdomen with white spots, this creature is primarily nocturnal, choosing to prey upon smaller creatures returning to their nests. Originally classified as the spotty bulborb, further research has reclassified the species as a basic bulborb. Species of varied colors have recently been discovered, but academics are divided into two rival camps over how they handle their classification. Some species are best spit roasted whole, stuffed with a lime and a slab of bacon, basted frequently to ensure a magnificently moist haunch. Jumbo bulborb. Jumbo. That word sets an image in your mind. Being larger than others of its species means its heart is proportionally bigger too, so its devotion to its family also grows. When it savagely bites, it's only doing so to protect those it cares about. The most loving critters can sometimes also be the fiercest. During reproduction, after an egg is fertilized by a sperm, any excess chromosomes are usually discarded through a process called meiosis. But occasionally this process fails to occur and a bulborb individual will develop irregularly due to this chromosomal abnormality. Specimens like this one are stronger than the average bulborb and can exhibit more aggressive behavior. However, they are not able to procreate as they will never reach sexual maturity. It's a large creature, but the meat is tender and flavorful. It is impossible to eat in one sitting, so store some portions for later. Coat the fattier meat in cooking oil and freeze. Leaner cuts should be smoked. Dwarf orange bulborb. Imposter, posing as an offspring of orange bulborb. It resembles the orange bulborb in every way, not just its obvious shape, but also down to its sharp senses, alert to each sound moving in its vicinity. What an adorable little impersonator. Damo. Just as a Gulf red bulborb mimics the appearance of the bulborb, it was theory that variant mimicking the orange bulb must also exist. Recent field work has confirmed this theory. Olmar. Although different to prepare, this exquisite creature is far more than worth the effort. Great Adidas. Louis. Orange bulborb. If you approach it while it's sleeping, it will immediately wake up and leap to its feet and peer around nervously. With such fine tooth senses, it's no wonder this bulborb can get a bit sleep deprived, though its big bloodshot eyes look surprisingly cute. Dama. This bulborb species boasts a garish color pattern with a deep orange body and black spots. The orange bulborb's yellow, bloodshot eyes make it clear that this bulborb is excessively edgy and high-strung, making it much easier to wake up from a deep sleep than other species in the grub dog family. Olmar. This bulborb's meaty flanks make for delicious savory steaks that shouldn't be missed. Louis. Dwarf bull bear. This little darling is with its beloved mother, but when it grows up, she'll drive it away. Though it may seem cruel, she helps it develop the confidence to survive on its own by forcing it to fend for itself. Such practical creatures could teach us a lot about learning to get by in the world. Dalmo. A spotty bull bear larva in its third stage of development, this creature's body structure is nearing maturation. However, unlike bull bears, it is yet to claim its own patrol route, and thus it depended upon its parent for guardian direction. Moving innards, stuffed with sage, and I was Olimar, and finally aged prosciutto and puro until golden brown. The ultimate crowd pleaser, Louis. Just 125 of these. Okay, I'm gonna put these up into 5-part videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. I'm not doing this all in one sitting. Spotty bull bear. One glance and you'll never forget them as long as you live. Those unmistakable bold depths, a most distinctive feature that the likes of which I've never seen nowhere else in the universe. When I gaze upon them, I wonder if the lips serve double duty as a way to feel the world around it, since this cute little color has no fingers. Dalmo. A mid-sized subspecies within the grub dog family, the spotty bull bear's unique feeding habits set it apart from other grub dogs. It patrols a set path, searching for prey instead of passively feeding on creatures that wander into a limited territorial range. When entering spotty bull bear habitat, it is wise to proceed with extreme caution until the bull bear's patrol path can be clearly identified. For an unrivaled green curry, peel away the spotty bull bear's skin, pulverize the juicy innards, and stew until curiously fragrant. Louis. Dwarf frosty bulborb. These ice crystals on its back are finely dilated and delightful iridescent. As a juvenile of the species, it sometimes overproduces the sparkling layer of crystals. One of its parents will then snip the crack away at its ice so it doesn't weigh the little one down. My heart melts when I see such a loving family dynamic out there in the wild. Dalmo. Olimar. Much like more mature specimens, the juvenile frosty bulborb is able to create and carry ice on an epidermis that promotes extracellular freezing. However, this is an entire night to regenerate their ice, which is rather often accompanied by adults. Juveniles may display a smaller number of spots than the adults, causing some to believe that this was actually a species of mimicking bread bug. However, the result of further analysis proved this was not the case. Olimar. A sweet and savory meat that pairs well with a simple green salad. Louis. Frosty bulborb. A creature that thrives in the coldest climates, its cold-coated haunches shimmer like a living jewel in the frigid air. You can admire the way it sparkles to your heart's content, but don't get too close. You'll get a frosty frozen on the spot if you touch it. A bulborb with large amounts of ice and frost covering its midsection. It's unusual to find such ice as this is attached to a living organism, as it's cold enough to freeze small animals and refrigerates any icy mass that gets broken off. Olimar. Sear the rich and fatty meat on both sides in a dab of butter, then sprinkle generously with fresh thyme. For those who prefer leaner cuts, I recommend the tip of the nose. Fiery bullbacks. When I see the blazing beastie, I get a rush of excitement. It's easy to lose track of time while starting fixated at the flame and shroud form of the fiery bullbacks. Its appearance brings to mind ancient molten landscapes from an era before our earliest ancestors. Dalmo. Bodily excretions of a highly flammable, waxy substance interact with the cell structure of the grub dog's skin, causing a chemical reaction that produces extremely high temperatures. Olimar. No stove? No problem. This sibling beast practically cooks itself. Remember to thoroughly extinguish sticks prior to eating. Louis. Whip-tongue bulborb. Its narrow snout houses an amazing prehensile tongue. It sets its sight and slurps its target right up. The sweet little being uses this marvel evolution with a great skill. Any creature with a destrious tongue like that is unlikely to ever go hungry. Dalmo. Instead of gnawing jaws usually found in related species, it uses its extendable, vicious tongue to capture prey. Even before it opens its mouth, it's recognizable by its tapered snout and black spots against its white back. Some theories that it has evolved its long tongue to snatch prey down high, blooming flowers, but a recent finding confirmed that until its second molt, the creature feeds with its teeth much like other grub dog species. It will begin to use its tongue once it reaches adulthood. Olimar. Pat the tongue dry, then coat all sides with a spicy dry rub of your choice. Grill over high heat until the outside is perfectly crisp. Louis. Bulborb larva. A toddling infant that anyone would love. With the body and delicate skin of a newborn, this cute little bun is as sensitive to all stimuli. Whenever you do around it must be done slowly, gently, and quietly. As adorable this baby is, you might be tempted to embrace it, but don't. You could squish the fragile darling. Dalmo. Olimar. As its name implies, the creature is a bulborb in its early stages of development. A distinct bulborb correlation has yet to appear, but it already exhibits other uniquely bulborb characteristics. It is capable of hunting nourishment independently without the help of its parents. Olimar. This meager creature offers a little meat, but its eyeballs are a local delicacy. Try them with okra and a dollop of sour cream. Louis. Empress bullblacks. The striking polka dots along the expansive hide provide the very image of royal splendor. While that regal presence essentially for queen quality might throw you off your guard, her grand, lumpy figure has more than just visual impact. When provoked, this charmer will roll a pole over and squash any threats. Approach with the utmost caution. Olimar. Initial observation placed down the capacity of the grub dog family to support a strong ant or bee-like social structure. But recent studies show this family is capable of such complexity for brief periods when certain external parameters are met. The egg sector of the largest female grub dog within a given range swells to dramatic proportions in response to environmental changes, such as the sudden depletion of prey species. These females temporarily take on the role of pack matriarch. Also, in pack formation, it has been observed that near all males non-developed in species reproduction undergo natural sex changes. Then the characteristics of such specimens are quite intriguing indeed. Olimar. For a sophisticated delicacy, make a pâté de foie gras from the massively obese creature's liver and spread it over a sesame cracker. Louis. Emperor bullbacks. It has a broad, moss-covered flanks and head like a desert. Clearly, complete with big drooping jowls and small googly eyes, these creatures appear to be quite moody, but it does have a cooperative streak. The way this temperamental bulbous giant cohabitates with others is quite surprising. Dalmo. The largest member of the grub dog family is normally found burrowed on the ground. This camouflage allows the predator to surprise small creatures and use its long, adhesive tongue to capture prey. Olimar. To prep the tongue for cooking, marinate in olive oil and chop into cubes. Stir in a pot with carrots, potatoes, and chives, clover, and simmer over a low heat for several hours. Accompany this mouth-watering rustic stew with a hearty roll. Sovereign bullbacks. The value of a living creature has within its ecosystem has no relation at all to how big or small it is. That being said, this massive mountain of a critter is truly majestic. Not only does it have the courage and means to lay waste to any opponent, it also has a roar that can make the boldest travelers start to tremble in their spacesuit. Dalmo. You recognize this by its plump. An emperor bullbacks of extremely advanced age. It will no longer display the pack behavior commonly exhibited by younger members of its species. Instead, as an individual ages, it leaves the herd and exhibits more solitary behaviors. It feeds by using strongly developed legs to leap upon and crush its prey in speed disproportionate to its massive body. To determine the age of any given specimen, you can count the rings of hides classified in the form of carapace. One ring forms usually every year the creature lives individually, with over 100 age rings have been discovered so far. The Sullivan bulblax's back is often covered in moss and petrohetites. On a few occasions, specimens have been found with rare species of mushrooms called a bulborbs growing on its back. Olimar. For a light appetizer, pluck the ferns off its back and lightly cook to remove a stringy flavor. The tongue, eyes, lips, meat, and fat are very tasty and can be prepared in a variety of ways. Mature specimens have a more highly developed umami flavor. That is every form of grub dog, also known as bulborbs, in Pikmin 4 explained. I should probably do bread bugs too. I'm going to put those on here. It looks like your breakfast table's longtime staple, a loaf of bread with perfect colors and buttery shine. Just looking at it, I swear the aroma of baking wafts past my nose. But you've never seen your bread loafing around like this. If you observe them for a while, you might catch them dragging things around with their mouths. It's heart-meltingly adorable. Dalmo. The adult bread bug competes for many of the same food sources as Pikmin, but its thick-skinned hide allows it to withstand most Pikmin group attacks. However, most researchers claim to observe that bread bugs is being overwhelmed by massive numbers of Pikmin and reduced to food. Bread bugs are hardy and nutritious, but also have are also bland and unimaginative. They may be palatable in a pinch, but they are also no truly culinary promise. Louis. Giant bread bug. Perfectly cooked, golden brown, and fluffy. It must be fresh baked loaf of bread. Oh, my mistake. This is the wildly unique giant bread bug with the texture and vibrancy only a living creature can possess. Don't let your eyes and gut deceive you. This lumbering muffin must just take offense if you mistake it for a loaf of fresh bread. Dalmo. This gargantuan species of the greater bread bug family has a torso so perfectly square with it that it almost seems like it's formed like a mold. For a brief period after birth, the giant bread bug completes for food with smaller bread bugs, but upon reaching maturity, it seeks out much larger prey. This is the primary reason for two species with similar feeding habits could coexist in the same habitat. Hordes of Pikmin appear to possess the only plausible threat to this massive creature's life. Olimar. Although cooking this colossal beast gives a mountain of meat, every ounce of it is flavorless, only suitable for intergalactic all-you-can-eat buffets. Okay, that is actually every type of bulblax. God damn it. Moldy dwarf bulborb. Picture this scenario. Like this poor darling. You're conscious, not no longer in control of your own body. Someone or something else has taken over. A horrifying concept, isn't it? Well, what is the thing control you couldn't live if it didn't do that? Sometimes it's simply a matter of survival. Dalmo. This is an example of a young bulborb body that's been affected by a fungal filaments. Now a host, it's unconsciously able to seek out and ingest food, all the while scattering large amounts of spores out in the spore sacs on its back until it can no longer move. After all host body activity ceases, the specimen mutates into a fungal creature with it that will eventually become a juvenile tox tool. Taste speed if eaten just before the meat spools. Once all the mold has been removed, you enjoy a unique flavor reminiscent of dry aged meat. Louis. That was the moldy dwarf bulborb. I think there's a normal giant double, right? Okay, that's actually all the types of bulborb. Okay, bye.